Hi, welcome back to another Heather Mac Reacts to Reality TV. I hope y'all are prepared because this episode was a doozy. We have new people, we have missing people. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm gonna do my best to break it down for you. If you like spilling reality TV tea, make sure you subscribe because I post these videos as often as I can. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's just get right into the drama. First, I would just like to say, I regret to inform you that we have some missing people. I don't know if the alarm has been sounded. I don't know if a report has been filed. I don't know if it's been long enough, but Ashley and Manuel were completely absent from this episode, so I guess they just weren't interesting enough this week to get some airtime. Say your prayers for them. Anyway, on to couple two. We are going to be talking about Jasmine and Gino. We open this section with Jasmine scratching the life out of herself, obviously in skimpy lingerie, because she has a rash covering her body. And she's telling Gino, this is because your house is dirty and dusty. And he's like, I think it was that bag of almonds you ate earlier. So she calls her doctor back in Peru, who she's dealt with this before. What's it called? Dermatitis. She's had a dermatitis flare up before. She thinks she's having another one. So she calls this doctor and I guess like FaceTimes him. And he's like, yeah, that's dermatitis and it's not from the almonds. But Gino is like clutching this bag of almonds for dear life. Then he has the nerve to say this to her. Let's watch this clip.
I told you, like, the dust, baby, on the carpet. Like, maybe it was the blankets, like the soap you wash it with.
No, not the dust. If it was the dust, you'd have been sick every day. I'm gonna go see the almonds that you've eaten.
Go look at the almonds, Gino. Maybe they have the answers to this mystery that you're searching for. Sir, if it was a food allergy, her throat would be closing up, her tongue would be swelling. She wouldn't have a rash down her, well, she would have a rash down her body, potentially, I guess, if it got that far. But it definitely affects this area, like, first and worse. So, Dr. Gino, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So they continue to fight over the almonds, and then clueless, delusional Dr. Gino has the nerve to say this right to her face. Watch.
Not the almonds, Gino.
You were living in a dirty apartment with mice in it.
What mice, you idiot? What mice?
That
Where did
apartment.
you say mice in my apartment?
Your
You're very
apartment.
disrespectful.
Your apartment.
You're very disrespectful. When in all the places I live, you have seen a bathroom like this, where you have the moles, the germs, that black that I don't know what it is in the bathroom.
It is totally.
Where have you seen it?
Gino, are you looking to get skinned alive? Well, your apartment had dust and dirt and mice. Okay, well, actually, some people can't help mice because, like, if you're living in I don't know where she was living, but if you're living in an apartment in close quarters, if the person next to you has a dirty fucking apartment, they're gonna, like, attract mice, and eventually those mice are gonna, like, sneak into your apartment and check out what's going on in there too. Sometimes you cannot help the mice, but hey, Gino, you can help the mold on your fucking toilet, you nasty asshole. After that big explosion, which gave us a little insight as to how they fight, and it's not pretty. But anyway, she breaks down and she basically tells him that she needs help to make this their house and not just his house, and that is going to start, you know, with some new stuff. It's making her, it's not just that the house is making her sick, but she's scared to bring her kids into a house like this. If it's making her this sick, she doesn't want to bring her kids into it either, which makes perfect sense. The next day, we find out that those hives were so bad that poor Jasmine had to go to urgent care because of that. So, way to go, Gino. This finally forces cheapskate Gino to take her shopping for new pillows and sheets. While she's there, she has a little breakdown over her son, and Gino is so little help, he almost makes it worse. Let's watch that.
You don't have to cry. It's okay.
Oh my God,
bad mom, baby. Sometimes I feel like I suck and I don't even know what the heck I'm doing.
No, you're a good mom. You've always been. Everything I've seen in Panama.
So if she had so much back in Panama, why did they make the decision for her to move here? Like, because of a job that he left? Like, we haven't even seen his family yet. And all we do is talk about her family. It just makes zero sense that she moved to America, to fucking Michigan, and he didn't just move to Panama. We close out their section with her talking to her little son, Juanse, and it was really cute. She was doing all the normal mom stuff. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you brush your teeth. And honestly, it was the first time that we've seen her talk to him like that since she left Panama. And that's definitely the producers making her look like a bad mom when she's really not. So glad we got to see that little insight, because it actually tells us the truth. Anyway, that's Gino and Jasmine's story this week. Let's jump right into Sophie and Rob, and y'all buckle the fuck up. Okay, let's get into Sophie and Rob. It is the next morning, and Sophie is giving him the cold shoulder, as she should. However, Rob does something unexpected and starts acting like a grown-up. He asks for them to sit down and talk about things, and for a change, we see Rob make some sense. Let's watch that clip.
So, a big thing, a big reality for me is that this isn't up to me. So it really does come down to what exactly are you thinking?
Next, he asks her if she even really wants kids, and then she has this story for him.
It's not that I don't want kids. I just want to make sure I have my life together first. I don't want kids, while I'm still trying to figure stuff out. I mean, I just got to America, so I have a whole life to kind of sort out right now. So, taking care of someone else is, the last thing on my mind. I need to make sure, I start my life here.
So which is it, Sophie? You're worried about it medically, or you're worried about a timeline? I'm like, yeah, you're 23. Were any of you thinking about having kids right now? What are we talking about here? I'm so confused. She finally does talk about her medical issues to Rob, which is really happening, and says that she doesn't want to be pregnant because it could complicate her medical issues. And she tells him that she's comfortable with adoption or surrogacy, and asks him, would you be comfortable with any of those options? And this is where we get to see how vain Rob really is. Let's watch.
But there's two options, adoption or surrogacy. So would you consider either of them, or?
I mean, I would like to raise little me's, so surrogacy sounds like the route that I'm more partial to.
Really, Rob? The reason for having children is not to clone yourself. It's start a family, have someone around you when you're old and ugly. Please don't have kids anytime soon. Also, you want to go for surrogacy when you can't afford an apartment with a bathroom inside? Does this guy even know how much surrogacy really costs? Is he crazy? Surrogacy is tens of thousands of dollars, and you can't afford an apartment. She's too bougie because she wants an apartment with a bathroom in it. Y'all are never, ever, ever gonna go through surrogacy. That's just hilarious. However, at the end of this section, they both seem happy with their plan somehow, some way. I just have to note how this is another thing that they're running headfirst into with really no knowledge or plan. Surrogacy is very expensive and honestly difficult for both parties, and they're not even talking about it. Rob's just like, yeah, I want a kid that looks like me, so we'll do that. Makes zero fucking sense. Okay, first let's watch a clip that explains how Sophie has proof that she wasn't on the dating site to find a date. She was on the dating site to find a friend. Let's watch that clip.
I met Soraya at the exact same time frame as when Tarai saw me on the app. But for me to have met Soraya, she was on the friend side. She wouldn't have shown up if I was on the date side. So I feel like that's proof of I made a whole friend on the same app at the same time. So I feel like I don't really need to prove anything else. That's as much proof as I can give, really.
Really didn't even need to give that proof. If he's willing to marry you, he should have already believed you. So awkward. Now we get to watch Rob's friend interrogate Sophie and talk to her like shit while Rob just stands there and lets it happen. So let's watch him be a dingleberry again.
Yeah, my friend Soraya's coming.
Oh, where'd you meet that friend?
I met her like when I came here like the first time. I just met her on like a friend's dating app.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where I meet all my friends.
Friends, that's what we call them now. Friends dating apps? I didn't know they made those.
Yeah,
I thought they were just dating apps.
Like, what an asshole. And Rob's just standing there looking dumb as hell. Oh my God. And Sophie's just smiling through it. I would have been like, and this is any of your business fucking how? Ooh, that would make me mad. What about you? Pissed. And by the way, there are such things as friends dating apps, and I'm on one. It's called Peanut. Stupid Rob's friend. Next, we get to see more of Rob's friend, and at this point, I'm convinced he's either a producer plant or just a whole asshole, and I'm completely over him and his bullshit. Let's watch.
I think she's been avoiding all the tough questions. She doesn't want to answer any of the questions that I have for her. In my experience with dating apps, is you're on there to date. You know, I don't know too much about making friends. I don't know if
I mean,
that's
there's like a best friend mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You met Soraya on that same app,
I met
right?
her on the app, and she was on the friend side
Okay, so
as
she's
well.
gonna. So when I meet her, she's gonna say, "Hey, I met her on this
Yes,
dating app, right?"
yes.
Okay, all right. My fault. I'm just saying.
Why is he being such a fake, sarcastic asshole? Like, you have to wonder if he's just acting because he is being such a fucking prick to her. Like, oh, yeah, the friend side. So when your friend gets here and I inquisition her like I inquisitioned you, she's gonna tell me the same thing? Sir, are you a fucking detective? Am I under suspicion of a murder? Calm yourself. Oh, and we lost my co-star. He's cranky, so... Toodles. Later, we see both Rob and his stupid friend fucking interrogate Sophie's poor friend until they realize that Sophie was telling the truth and they met on the friend side of that dating app. We think everything is fine, but the next thing we know is we get this message from the producers. Let's watch. Yikes. Not that I can blame her, but yikes. Apparently, she found out that he's been cheating online and both receiving and asking for nude videos. And she even sits there and goes, well, maybe that's why he's never asked me for racy videos, because he was getting them from other girls online. Ugh, the way that has to hurt. Then we skip to Rob and we realize how low he really does set the bar for himself. Let's watch.
I've been trying to be perfect, but I'm not perfect, man. I'm not. Like, I'm not perfect, but I'm definitely not trying to be with nobody else but you.
I'm not perfect. I'm trying so hard to be perfect. Dude, you want nude videos? Ask your hot girlfriend for them. Stupid. You want to jerk off to like some strange girl? Go tell her to put a fucking costume on. Like, get creative if you're bored with your overseas relationship. Like, there's things that we can do, Rob. Let's use our brains, although we'd have to look far and wide for his, obviously. And if any of you are shocked at Rob's behavior, you obviously haven't been paying attention. Let's watch this clip.
He did this before, and I nearly broke up with him because it was like just after a year, I think after we've been dated, he did the same thing, and he was like wanking off back to her. Sorry, this is really explicit, but like he was doing inappropriate stuff. The girls doing inappropriate stuff. And it's like I said, you can't hurt me like this again. If you do this, I'm leaving. So he knew what he was doing.
Rob the Knobs at it again. Now, let's back up a little bit and watch the way Rob the Knob cried when he got caught doing the same shit over and over and over again.
I just want you. I want you in my life. I don't want nobody else. Baby.
Wah. You made this bed, Rob, with strangers on the internet, and I had to sleep in it. Stupid. He just looks like a stupid little boy who doesn't want to sit in timeout for his behavior. Like, nothing about him is attractive. He's just a spoiled little child. And it's so annoying. Now, poor Sophie is stuck in America with no friends or a place to go, so she has to rent out a place for herself. And she goes on about how if things don't work out for them, he's fine. He's still in LA. He still has an apartment. He still has his friends and whatever kind of job he thinks he has. She's the one who has to pay all the consequences. Let's watch that clip.
So it's like, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. And obviously, if I don't marry him, I have to go home. So I've given up everything for nothing. I don't want to throw away my whole life that I've been trying to build to be in LA with Rob. It's like, I have to give up that. I have to give up that dream. And he just gets to live the same life with no consequences. He doesn't have to leave. He just gets to do what he's doing.
You know, I feel really bad for her, but to be honest, this is the chance she took and this is the leap she leapt. And she knew that there were consequences. She knew that there were risks involved, and this was a big one. I'm not going to show her breakdown on national TV, but it really was heartbreaking. And in it, she says, it's not even just that he hurts me, it's that I don't know what to do now. And I just feel so bad for this poor girl alone in America. I hope she can get back together with that dating app friend and have some much needed support. That's all we have from Rob and Sophie today. So I would like to know what you thought about that couple this episode, and let's get on to number 4. Now we have Igor and Nicole, and we open up the first section with a truth bomb from Igor. Let's hear it.
But what bothers about Nikki is she's don't have patience, and sometimes she's pushing too much. Like, I want sex like sex machine. And my body still trying to opening for Nikki. And I need the time for that. It's not easy.
What I'm hearing is that he wants to accept her as his sexual partner, but that he might not be able to. It's like he wants to be attracted to her like he used to be, but he's just not. And it's like trying to shove a square peg in a round hole, and it's just not going to work. Is he trying so hard for good reasons because he really cares about Nikki and she's done a lot for him and they've spent a lot of time together and they've been together for so long and he really wants to make this work? Or does he want to make this work because she's funding his life and getting him new noses and stuff? She, on the other hand, is like a broken record. Things used to be different. Things used to be better. I need more. I need more sex. I need more intimacy. Honey, do you know the kind of truth bomb that you dropped on this man? You told him that you were born a man. This is a strong Eastern European man who was not raised around the LGBT, and you don't want to say tricked him into having sex with you for months or years. You didn't trick him. You just didn't tell him that you weren't born a boy, but you are a girl now. I don't know. It's just really difficult, and I feel really bad for him, and I understand why he's having trouble connecting the old Nikki with the new Nikki that he knows now. Then she basically just lays it all out on the line and asks him if he's just with her for the money, and this is what he has to say to that.
I don't like when the Nikki talks about the money and try to feel bad me about it. Nikki does a lot in this relationship, but I think I do too. How can you measure who does more?
You could probably measure it in dollars and cents, Igor, but you know, what do I know? Anyway, Igor turns around and says Nicole does little for him. That right there, sir, is going to cost you 10 points from Gryffindor. We already know she sent him money. We already know he has an allowance. We already know she paid to renovate his bathroom. And we find out that she paid for his nose, which was $7,000. So how are you going to tell me that she does little for you, Igor? Get a grip. Even in the interviews that take place after the show, they are still fighting. Watch this.
You don't put me first, ever, okay? I always put you first. I always helped you when you needed the help. I always was there for you when you needed it, right? Who the do you think you are? Bye, little child.
You can just tell they have the most toxic fighting way about them. Like, she is like, and he's like, yeah, gotcha, And she's like, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go. Like, ooh, that would make me mad too. But also, like, Nikki, like, could he get a word in between you yelling and harping and, like, girl, I understand, like, you're here to, like, fix things in your relationship, but, like, give it more than 24 hours. At this point, she says she wants to go home. She hasn't even been in Moldova for 24 hours, and she's all ready to go home. However, somehow, Igor tames the beast with his broken English of, save your power for our love. Okay, Igor. Gosh. She admits she took a hormone shot before leaving the US, and that might be what's making her a little bit more emotional than usual. But these issues between them have still been brewing for a while, so that's nothing new for them. She has a talk with her mom, and her mom's like, hey, how about you stop screaming and exploding and blowing up on everybody and try to approach him from a different direction and maybe talk to him like a civilized human being and not a lunatic. Thanks, Mom. Where were you 72 hours ago? Guess better late than never, right? Next, they're talking about their plans for tomorrow, and Nicole gets ignorant. Let's watch.
So tomorrow you want to go to the gym?
Yeah, at the morning time, I think maybe when you were asleep.
No, I'll wake up. We can go to the gym together, and we can work out together.
I was thinking about it. Maybe not my gym. Another gym. Better for people who comes from another country.
Why would it be better for me than the gym that you've been going to that you don't want me going to?
In my opinion, Igor is trying his best to keep her safe and happy in Moldova, and all she wants to do is buck against that. Sweetheart, do you want to get drawn and quartered in the town square? Because people like you don't fare very well in Moldova. Yikes. Next, she says she gets clocked as trans in the restaurant, and that's all because she opened her big fat mouth and talked about, oh, when I was born a boy. So obviously someone clocked it, but then let's watch what our Igor does to save the day.
What you're doing is standing up and showing the world that you love me regardless of what anybody thinks. That's what matters the most to me.
Okay, stop.
What?
So freaking cute. I am rooting for Igor above all other people so far. He seems to be trying the most. Anyway, 50 points to Gryffindor for that one, Igor. And let's jump into couple number 5, Devin and Nick. Okay, now in my opinion, Nick gets us off on the right foot right from the very get-go on their section. Let's watch that.
My girlfriend, Devin, just arrived in Korea. We were separated for about 2 years. But the moment I saw her again, I remember why I fell in love with her.
So cute and sweet, Nick. You're back on my good list for now. Next, Devin mentions that Nick might not like the slow pace of Arkansas after living in the giant techno-colored city of Seoul, South Korea. And we get to see his true feelings on the matter. Let's watch that.
I'm a bit nervous. If this is what Nick is kind of used to, then, like, having that 180 change in Cersei might be a bit depressing for him.
I don't want to go to Cersei. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Are you joking though? Nick, are you? I also like to know his real name because his name is obviously not Nick in Korea. Anyway, that night, Devin is supposed to meet his family, and she's worried about all the customs and the rules in the Korean culture that she's unfamiliar with. Like, you know, when you're supposed to smile, when you're not supposed to smile, when you're supposed to look down, when you're supposed to look away, when you're supposed to drink, when you're supposed to do this, when you're supposed to take stuff off, how you're supposed to greet people. It's a lot. But they had 2 years to prepare for this. And he couldn't have been teaching her anything about the Korean culture before she got to Korea. Y'all, where is the sense? Anyway, Devin then asked a question, and I don't think she was prepared to hear that answer, but let's watch it anyway.
So do you think, you know, if your mom had a choice,
Yeah.
do you think she'd choose for you to marry a Korean woman over me?
I think she mentioned about it, actually.
What'd she say?
She said she wasn't happy with me getting married to America.
Good, and she gets to meet them in just a few hours. Can't wait. Nick is an idiot for telling her that much truth so close to her first meeting with his parents. It's the day after their reunion, and this clip I'm about to show you just gets worse and worse, but if I have to see it, so do you.
Were y'all able to rekindle your romance?
I wanted to break the bed, but she was too tired, jet lag.
Don't lie.
So I farted, and she kicked me out.
So what's the real truth? Actually, I don't want to know. And also, is Devin just jet lagged? Because I swear this girl constantly looks like she just woke up from a 3-year nap and doesn't know what year it is. Like the girl is confused. Nick basically warns us that his parents are a tough crowd and they are basically going to chew up this little Arkansas girl and spit her out. Let's watch that clip.
Devin meeting my family and parents makes me so nervous. My father, he's not super friendly. And my mother, she's a serious career woman. With Devin, she can be overwhelmed. She can be fragile. When there's something overwhelming her, she'll cry. My parents won't like it. And without my parents' blessing, I can't go to US.
Good luck, Devin. Godspeed. Anyway, that's all I have for Nick and Devin today. And now we get into a surprise 6 couple. Hooray. Today we get to meet Clayton, 30. And he talks a lot about his fiance, Annalie, but we don't get to see her in this episode except for pictures. Anyway, my first impression of Clayton is he's fucking weird. Let's watch a clip.
My little baby pig. You're a good boy. Oh, you're so cute, baby pig. You're pretty. You're a pretty pig. The little fire truck. You're so cute.
Okay, I've had guinea pigs. They're really cute. They're fun to hold and they're really soft and they make funny little noises, but as a grown-up, I was not dressing them up in fire truck suits and taking special pictures of them. Clayton, you need a hobby besides your guinea pigs. But it doesn't stop with guinea pigs. He also lives with 2 chihuahuas and his mom. How does his mom live with him in this 1-bedroom apartment, you ask? She took the walk-in closet and made it into a bedroom for herself. Yeah, so his mom's just sleeping in his closet at 30. It's fun. According to him, she moved in so she could save for a place of her own, which makes perfect sense, right? But she's been there 3 years. So obviously, she doesn't have any plans on leaving anytime soon. And now we get to see how mom feels about living with her son.
Oh, this was just a temporary. A little bit longer than temporary, but it's working out. It's going to be okay.
Gonna be okay, huh? My opinion, she's never leaving and she's never letting him go. Next, we cut to Annalie and we find out she's from Peru. They met on a language app and then met in person 8 months later. Their proposal story was actually one of the most painful things I've ever seen. It might even be more painful than Rob the Knob doing a dance in the middle of an airport for Sophie, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Let's watch the clip.
So I decided to propose to her. She said, "Aw," and then didn't say anything else. I was like, so yes? And she said, yeah. It was kind of like a delayed yes, so I'm hoping it wasn't like by coercion or force, but I did get the yes in the end, so I guess that's a win.
If that's what you're calling a win, Clayton, I'd hate to see what you'd call a loss. Yikes. Now we find out that mom isn't just a freeloader, she's a hoarder. And she's been collecting shit in his 1-bedroom apartment. Clayton wants to get the place cleaned up before Annalie comes because Annalie knows there's a bunch of mess and she don't want to move into that. Instead of throwing away the junk in his house like his mother's cork collection, they decide to take a trip to storage. Cause why not just move the crap around instead of going through it and getting rid of it, right? That did not go the way he thought it would. Let's watch that clip.
I want enough space for me and my fiance to live comfortably. I want to take some of this stuff to storage.
All right. Surprise.
Whoa.
I told you.
Yeah, there's less room than I thought.
It's a problem, Clayton. It's a problem. She's a problem. Now Clayton is worried about Annalie's reaction to the messy and cramped apartment because she's got a temper and she's not the type to hold back. So good luck, Clayton. Next, we jump ahead to see Clayton at the vet with his guinea pigs. Turns out he brings them in every 6 months, which is quite a dedicated owner, if I do say so myself. But problem is he's battling with their weight because his mom keeps giving them too much snacks. So she's living in his place rent-free. She's taking up his space. She's cluttering up his house. And she's making his guinea pigs unhealthy by feeding them too much. So she's just a delight all the way around, huh? So lucky to have her. Next, if we ever needed to know that Annalie and Clayton were like oil and water, all we would have to do is watch this.
Do you know they eat guinea pigs in South America?
Yes.
My fiance has eaten a guinea pig, and she says it's delicious. I'm trying to get my fiance closer to my guinea pigs, but not too close, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guinea pigs in Peru are often a delicacy, and they're not a common food in America at all. So I think Annalie's starting to realize that she might never eat guinea pig again.
Is Clayton okay? Does he really think that this grown-ass woman can't tell the difference between a pet and a meal? Like, I eat pork. I love me some bacon. Had pork chops for dinner last night, but do you think that means that I can't have affection for a pet pig? Like I'm just gonna steal your little pig when you're not looking and fucking bite into it? What is wrong with you, Clayton? She's not an animal. Jesus Christ. It's like he's downplaying her intelligence. Now we finally get to hear Clayton the complainer, but do nothing about his living situation a little bit more. Let's watch that clip.
It's kind of second nature at this point of having all this clutter. I've just become accustomed to it and complacent, but it's still just kind of mentally exhausting to have so much stuff in your house. I'm pretty much just like a hermit in my room because I'm working from home and gaming all the time. I've spent a lot of time on the computer.
So you just expect your new fiance to fly all the way from Peru to America to live in a one-bedroom apartment with you so that your mom can clutter the rest of it? That makes perfect sense. Awesome. How are you going to bring another person into this house, senor? Next, Clayton admits that Annalie hasn't told her dad about Clayton yet. So she's straight up getting on an airplane with a K-1 visa. That means she needs to marry this man within 90 days in order to stay in America, and she hasn't told her dad about it yet. Apparently, dad is very smothering, and he calls her multiple times a day, so she's had multiple chances to tell him, and she still isn't. Her being secretive is bringing out some of Clayton's insecurities, which makes perfect sense. And I think he has every right to be insecure at this point. Clayton is afraid if Annalee tells her dad about him, that the dad will convince her to stay. And if she's been able to lie to her dad this long about their relationship, what's to stop her from lying to him? The world may never know. That's all I have from this episode. Now I would like to give some survival rating scores. So Ashley and Manuel are going to stay at a 3 like they were last time because frankly, we haven't seen them again. Next, we have Jasmine and Gino, and last time I gave them a 6. And although nothing particularly awful happened in this episode, I still have 0 faith in clueless, dumbass Gino, so I'm going to keep their score at a 6 for now. Next, we have Sophie and Rob, and last week I'd given them a 0, and this week it's very clear to me that that score needs to change to a -10. Bye, Rob the Knob. Now, last time I gave Nicole and Igor a 2. But after seeing his sweet little display in the relationship, even though another Moldovan man had clocked Nicole as trans, I'm gonna up their score to a 4. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I'm a little impressed with Igor, so I'm gonna bump that score a little bit. Next, we have Devin and Nick, and last week I gave them a 5. This week I'm gonna give them a 3 because not only are his parents not going to approve of sleepy-eyed Devin, but there is no way Nick is going to live in Arkansas for her. So we're going down. Last of all, we have Clayton and Annalee, and although I haven't even met her yet, I do have to give them a score, and like I did Devin and Nick last time, I'm gonna give Clayton and Annalee a 5 because I have not seen their dynamic yet. I see that he is very into her, and I see that she is into him enough, or into America enough, to come on a K-1 visa to marry him. So we will just see how that plays out. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe. I will be finishing this 90 Day Fiancé season as quickly as I can. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!